since I didn't get this. Oh, wait, no, I do. I have, look, I'll do this number 1 since I didn't record the first problem. Where am I? Right here. So, again, 64 to the 1/2, okay? That means it's the square root of 64. What is the square root of 64? 8. Or, if you just type that in your calculator and press enter, you would get 8. Okay? What's 11 to the 1/2? What's another way to write that? The square root of 11 times the square root of 11. What's this 11? That's just 11. You can write the 2 or not, it doesn't matter. Okay? This one, let's go ahead and do C. That's going to be, can y'all tell those numbers? Are they kind of little?
Half.
They're little. They're both to that 1/2. That's 3 to the 1/2 and 12 to the 1/2. Okay? So that means that's the square root of 3, and that's the times the square root of 12. What's 3 times 12?
36.
The square root of 36, which is what? Or you could have just typed it in your calculator and gotten 6, okay? But again, you need to know that rule. Are we good with the first ones? Okay. Can I erase? Yeah? Yeah, okay. And there might be one more above this. Let me make sure. Did this one? I'll go ahead. I'll do this one. Just one last practice one. Those are both the 4th root, okay? If you can't tell, it's 5 to the 1/4 and 125 to the 1/4. And notice they've all been 1s in the numerator. That will change. So we've got the 4th root of 5 times the 4th root of 125. And then what's 5 times 125? Was that 625?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the 4th root of 625 is, I'm guessing it's 5. Yeah, okay. Or you could have typed it. Yeah. All right, we're good? We understand? Okay, moving on. Let me see how many problems we have. I don't want to, it says 6, so we may not do them all today. All right, let's see. This is our little rule. Okay, this is good. This will show you what I was talking about. Okay, see, we just did this. We put whatever number was down here, that was our root, right? That's all we did. Now we have a little change, and notice we don't have a 1 anymore. We have 2 different numbers. So the root goes right here. The bottom number goes where the root sign is. The other number just goes up there, okay? So I'll show you what I mean in a minute. And yeah, a lot of these you can type in your calculator, okay? So let's do our, am I writing that? Okay, I don't know why it looks so blurry up there. I almost wonder, let me see if the zoom in button helps. Is that less blurry? That's worse. Okay, zoom out and then just do this. It does? Okay. I'm trying to, from here it looks fine, but I don't know. When I get up here, it's hard to tell that they're M's and N's. I don't know. All right, let's look at some problems. Oh, y'all will hate that one. Okay, we'll just do the X first. Everybody ready? I think I'm going to write it on paper. Okay. Might be a little bit better. Our first problem is, it wants me to rewrite x to the 3/7 as in radical form. That means with like a root. So what number do I put the root? The 7. Okay, it's like a little plant. That's the root. 7, and then what goes under the root? X to the 3rd. There you go. So before, we only had a 1 up there, so there's no need to write the 1 up there, okay? But now that you have a number that's different in the numerator, you write it. Let me do some basic ones before I start more difficult ones. let's see, if I have, do they have any more? I don't. Let's see, here we go. Y to the 2/5. What would that one be? The 5th root of y squared. There you go.
Is that your answer?
That's your answer. Yeah, it just wants you to write it in radical form. Now I'm going to change it though. They're about to give us a negative exponent. Does anybody know what would happen? Can you ever have a negative exponent?
No.
No. Do you remember what we did with negative? You flipped it to the other side. So a long time ago, if we ever had y to the -3, or I'll do xy to the -3 over z. Does everybody see which one is the negative exponent? The y. I don't know if y'all remember this rule. This goes way back to Algebra 1. You moved it down here, and it became positive. So anytime you have a negative exponent, you just put it in the denominator, and it becomes positive. Does that kind of make sense? Yes, no? Okay, that's a rule from a long time ago. So far, these weren't bad. Now we've got some negative exponents, though. If I have y...
On the bottom, do you put it on the top?
If it was, yeah. But it's not going to be like that with the radicals or with like these square roots and these roots and things. But yes, that was our rule. Y to the -7/2. Okay, so first of all, what I need to do is move it to a denominator. Does everybody understand that? So watch, it would just be y to the 7/2 down here. Okay, just put 1 over it. It's moved to the denominator. Now how do I write it as a root?
Square root of y.
Yeah, the square root of y to the 7th. Now, do y'all want me to make things difficult? Let's go back to last week. Can you have a square root in the denominator?
No, you have to times it.
Multiply by it. You have to multiply by it. So watch. Multiply by y to the 7th. So in the numerator, I have the square root of y to the 7th. And in the denominator, what do I have? What's that times itself? Y to the 7th. That's your answer. I know it's crazy. Look at it for just a second.
Can you pause
Mm-hmm.
that, please?
Y'all tell me when y'all are good.
I'm alright.
Y'all are ready for me to go? Okay. Now, on this one, I thought about leaving it, but I will go ahead and, what do you notice about the 7 under here? If I'm taking the square root, can I simplify the 7 under here? Because it's basically, I know this is a lot, y'all. We're about to do just a lot of practice. 6 y's here and 1 here. So what is 6 divided by 2? 3. So I can bring y to the 3rd out, and then I have y to the 7th here.
It stays one.
But, yeah, it can be simplified. What can be simplified? Still,
The y.
the y's.
Can we just leave it like that?
You would have to keep simplifying. So this one, if I have 3 up here and 7 down here, what are we going to end up with?
The y and the bottom.
The y's in the bottom. How many?
4.
4. You would have the square root of y over y to the 4th. Because remember, there's 3 up here and 7 down here. 3 of those are going to cancel out. And it's going to leave us with 4 down here.
So is that all?
It's finally over. Yeah.
So wait, why did you break up the top 7? Like the numerator?
Up here?
Mhm.
Why did I do this one? Because it's basically like if it had the square root of 48, I can't leave it the square root of 48. I have to split that up 16 times 3. Okay, same thing here. I have y's that can come out of the square root. That's what we learned earlier in the chapter. So this is where it's kind of, we're pulling it all together. Okay, which don't worry, when I get that study guide, I think we're going to start on the study guide tomorrow and we'll go through all of it step by step and see. Let me see if I have another one. Okay, this one is actually backwards. So that one's, out of those problems, let me see what we have next. That one's one of the more difficult ones to me. Okay, let me do this one. To me, these are a little bit easier, and I'll come back and do more. This one has, okay, the square root of a to the 5th. It wants us to not write it in radical form. It wants it, they call it exponential form. It just means they want it with an exponent, okay? So radical form wants our answer like this. Exponential form wants our answer like that, okay? So what's our root? This is, read this, it's the square root. So that means for a, the bottom number is 2. That's our root.
Oh, the top number's 5.
The top number is 5. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if I have another one. Let's see. Here we go. 4th root of x to the 3rd. So how would I write that one?
So it'd be 4.
X to the 3/4. Okay? And y'all, if they write it like this one, it's the same thing. If it's written like this, don't let it confuse you. I want you to do it the same exact way. What's our variable? B. And what's the number in the root? 5. And what goes on top? 3. So if they write it, so you might have a problem where they write it like this, it's going to be the same thing. I showed that to y'all in that little key concept thing, but I didn't explain it. Okay, I'll do one more like the second one. If they had the 5th root of y to the 4th, what's that one going to say?
Y times 4/5.
Yep, y to the 4/5. So see, those to me are a little bit easier. Yeah? Good. Okay, let's see what else I have. Let me ask y'all, would y'all rather learn the next problems and then just do start study guide tomorrow, or would y'all rather
Pretty confused. Can you give us the same today?
if somebody can make a copy and then y'all just want to learn the next 3 problems tomorrow, or do y'all want to do like one more problem today? Just do the harder ones. Yeah, let me do another one of the harder ones, y'all, because that was, you're right, it's definitely not enough practice for us. That one's, I gotta have one with a variable. Give me a second. T in a second. T to the -3/4. T to the -3/4. So if it's well, what I would do is I would put it in the what? Denominator first. Is everybody okay with that part? T to the 3/4. Just put a 1 over it. Everybody's good?
It doesn't want it in like the square root thing.
It does. So we're about to do that. What is this one going to be? The what? But I don't think I want a 4th root.
Under 1.
I don't want to do, nope, I'm not doing that one. I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on, I got to find a different one. Because we don't do 4th roots in the denominator. I've never done that to y'all. And I'm not going to start now.
A square root.
Yeah, I just have done the square roots. Well, I'll just make one up. Let me just do t to the, we'll do -3/2. I didn't do 3/2 last time. So what is this one? I'm making it up. 1 over t to the 3/2. Everybody's good so far? Now let's write that as a square root.
1 over 2 squared.
So the square root
I got t to the third.
of t to the third.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay? So now we can't have a square root in the denominator, so what do we multiply by?
T squared.
The square root of t to the third. The same thing that's down there, right? The square root of t to the third. So what's in the top? What's in the numerator? Square root of t to the third, which I'll sadly have to simplify. What's in the bottom is t to the third. Now, before I move on, I think this was the easy part for y'all. Does everybody understand this part? Is it the next part that got to be too much? A little bit. Is there any questions so far, though? Like if this is not, if you don't understand something, tell me now. Everybody's got that? Okay. Now, in the numerator, that's the square root of t to the third. When this number inside is bigger, I can pull some of them out. Yeah. So she's saying, okay, it's going to be 2 t's and 1 t. Does everybody understand that that's still t to the third? Does everybody understand that that's still?
Put it outside.
Well, yeah. Now we're going to pull that outside.
Just catch them before they leave and give them to them once I still have on my desk.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Question on that part? No? So what is 2 divided by 2?
1.
That's how many t's we're going to pull outside. 1. And then that one's left over. And how many do I still have in the bottom?
3.
And a quick question, how many more are in the bottom?
3 or 2.
2. I went too fast on that part? Okay.
Wait, why
So-
only 2?
Does everybody understand? Ignore this. I pulled out t, square root of t, over t to the third. If I have 1 t up here and 3 down here, I have 2 more left over down here because one of them would cancel out. Let's do another. Okay. I'm just going to have to make it up because I'll do...
Do 7 over 2.
We already did 7 over 2. That was the first one.
Or 6.
I could do a 6 over 2. It'll go even, but that's fine. We'll do 6 over 2. Okay? But it's negative.
Yeah.
I would actually...
Wait, Jay. How did she do this?
Yeah, I guess I can. Question.
It's the t squared of t
We're
over
just guessing on
t.
the
The middle.
Let's do 9 over 2. Let's do an odd number.
1 over the square root of t to the third.
35 too.
No, like the very long, like, that one. It's directly above the camera.
Okay. Well, because she
Is
did
this on the
the 2.
worksheet? Is this what's gonna be on the worksheet?
Well, I think what I'm going to do is go ahead. Oh, they were wanting a study guide, but I haven't really made it.
You take whatever
Um,
you
She's
have
studied out all week since there's a
and leave
test
the other one
Thursday.
inside of it.
Well, that's what we would do, but I still have to. I have a few more problems left tomorrow.
Well, it's still there because 2 divided by 2 is 1.
Do we
So
have
that's
to have a
why
worksheet
that
for
was
this
the
week?
t on the outside and the other t's on the inside.
No, I'm going to try and just make y'all a study guide, but it's going to take me a few minutes. Okay. Are we ready to go do another one? Okay, I'm going to change it, and I'm going to do, what is negative 4.5 as a fraction? Just press math enter, enter. Put negative 4.5 math enter, enter. It's negative 9 over 2. Okay? So if they gave you something like that, and you're like, what the world do I do with that? Type in your calculator, and it will tell you it's negative 9 halves. Some of you knew that, though. Okay? Everybody good with that? Then what happens if it's a negative exponent? Move it to the denominator. Everybody good with that? A to the 9 halves is in the denominator. So I'm going to change it to a square root. And what kind of square root is it? The square root of a to the 9. Can I have a square root in the denominator? Do I need to slow down? No? Okay, so I'm going to multiply by square root of a to the 9th. Everybody good with this? So in the numerator, I have square root of a to the 9th and a to the 9th in the denominator. Now, since this number, this is 9 and that's a 2. Remember, a square root, if you want to put the 2, put it. So you need to take some of these a's out. But can you divide 9 by 2? No, that's why we do, and we already learned this, 8 and then 1. Does everybody understand that? 8 and another one is how many? It's still 9 A's right there, okay? So what is 8 divided by 2? A to the 4th. That's what goes on the outside. That you have taken the square root of it. That's what it became. And then I have an A on the inside. And how many in the denominator? 9. So can I simplify? Yes. How many extra does the denominator have? 5 extra. Is it better?
What happened to the 8 of the 4?
There were 4 up here and 9 down here. So watch. Do you want me to? Yeah, you basically subtract. It would be like having 1, 2, 3, 4.
You combine like terms.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Wow.
Okay. So that's 8 to the 4th, and that's 8 to the that's an 8.
You had to go
8 to the 9. So you would have those would cancel out. So your square root of A is left over, and how many A's are down here? That's why. That's what happens.
It's just, I just lost, like.
So if y'all will give me a minute, I will try. What time is it? I just don't want to take time making this. Okay, so all right, if y'all give me, it might take me just a little bit of time to make this study guide.